how Stoicism can help you control your anger. Seneca, a wise Roman philosopher from ancient times, once remarked, "No plague has cost the human race more dear than anger." Stoics, like Seneca, recognize the potency of anger, yet they don't allow it to control their actions. Instead, they acknowledge anger as a natural feeling but choose not to yield to its influence. Take John, for instance. He grappled with anger issues that were wreaking havoc on his relationships and work life. Even minor annoyances would spark intense outbursts, straining his marriage and making his colleagues uneasy. Upon discovering Stoic philosophy, John began applying its teachings to manage his anger. When anger surged within him, he took a moment to reflect on his perceptions of the situation, questioning whether his reactions were justified or if he was jumping to conclusions unfairly. This simple practice helped him gain a clearer perspective. Moreover, John learned to focus solely on desires within his control, his work ethic, and his care for his wife. He came to accept that dealing with things like traffic jams, incompetent coworkers, and rowdy children was just part of life, to be endured with equanimity. With consistent practice, John found that these Stoic principles swiftly quelled his anger. His wife noticed a marked improvement, and his colleagues observed a newfound sense of calmness about him. By mastering his anger rather than suppressing it, John transformed not only his emotional well-being but also enhanced his relationships and professional life. 7 Stoic strategies to control anger. The Stoics were deeply interested in how emotions influence people's actions. They believed that while anger is a natural emotion, it's also harmful. It tends to lead to destructive behaviors, making it crucial to control. Here are some key Stoic principles for managing anger. Number 1. Anger control through self-awareness. Keep this thought handy when you feel a fit of rage coming on. It isn't manly to be enraged. Rather, gentleness and civility are more human, and therefore manlier. A real man doesn't give way to anger and discontent, and such a person has strength, courage, and endurance, unlike the angry and complaining. The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength. Marcus Aurelius. According to Stoic philosophy, anger is like a temporary madness. Lucius Annaeus Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher and advisor to Emperor Nero, cautioned against acting on anger, even when it seems justified, as it clouds our judgment. The ancient Greek philosopher Horace likened anger to a short-lived insanity. Psychology corroborates this view, showing that when we're angry, our perceptions become skewed and irrational, a phenomenon known as cognitive distortion. The longer anger persists, the more pronounced this effect becomes. Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. Seneca. Recognizing the onset of anger is the first step in controlling it. As Seneca advised, it's best to nip anger in the bud and prevent it from escalating. Once anger takes hold, regaining composure becomes increasingly difficult. We all possess varying levels of self-awareness, making it challenging to detect our rising anger. However, there are telltale signs to watch out for, both physical and internal. Stoic mentors such as Rusticus would help their students identify latent anger. Pay attention to physical cues like tense muscles, a racing heart, sweating, or trembling. Similarly, observe your internal state for signs of brewing anger, such as vengeful or hostile thoughts. It's also crucial to distinguish between surface-level emotions like boredom or irritation and the deeper well of anger underneath. Number 2. Anger control through contemplation. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Marcus Aurelius. Anger is an unpleasant emotion, as noted by Seneca, who quoted the Roman philosopher Quintus the Elder. It has often been useful for angry people to look in a mirror. Its ugliness is so extreme, as it seeps through bones and flesh, and so many things in its path. What would it look like if laid bare? To reduce anger, consider the potential consequences of your actions. Creating a pause between an anger-triggering event and your response allows time for reflection. In examining our anger, we step back, objectively evaluating the situation. This perspective reminds us that external events are neither inherently good nor bad. It's our beliefs and judgments that shape their meaning. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic practitioner, mastered the separation of thoughts from external reality. This mental discipline enabled him to refrain from reacting angrily when confronted with irrational behavior. Epictetus advised addressing angry thoughts as mere impressions, distinct from the reality they claim to represent. Modern cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, aligns with this concept, promoting self-distancing or psychological distancing to reduce reactivity. A recent study by Michel Kroller, Karin et al., 2021, supports the effectiveness of self-distancing in mitigating anger. By speaking to oneself in the third person, like saying, "Sandy is angry. Why is Sandy so angry?" reactivity diminishes. In the Stoic approach to insults, pausing succumbing to anger is crucial. This momentary reflection helps assess the justification of anger. If justified, steps can be taken to address the issue. If unjustified, fostering empathy by considering the other person's perspective is encouraged. Stoics emphasize letting go of unjustified anger before it escalates and causes harm. The Stoic practice of view from above involves contemplating situations from a distance, detaching oneself from immediate emotions. This exercise aids in understanding the root causes of problems, allowing for clearer and less emotionally charged perspectives. Additionally, Stoics empathized with the struggles of those who may be causing harm. Recognizing that everyone faces challenges, even those who appear as adversaries, fosters understanding. Epictetus wisely advised that when offended by someone, turn inward, reflecting on personal failings to alleviate anger. When we act pugnaciously and injuriously and angrily and rudely, to what level have we degenerated? To the level of the wild beasts. Well, the fact is that some of us are wild beasts of a larger size, while others are little animals, malignant and petty. Epictetus. So, the Stoic approach to anger involves reflection, creating a pause, self-distancing, empathy, and contemplation from a distance. These practices aim not only to control anger but also to foster a deeper understanding of oneself and others. Number 3, anger control through dichotomy. Of control. If you would cure anger, do not feed it. Say to yourself, "I used to be angry every day, then every other day, now only every third or fourth day." When you reach 30 days, offer a sacrifice of thanksgiving to the gods. Epictetus' anger is a natural response that helps us recognize and address unfair or undesirable situations. However, when anger spirals out of control, it becomes harmful and destructive. In extreme cases, individuals may even lose consciousness as their anger escalates, leading to dangerously high heart rates. Stoic philosophy offers the principle of the dichotomy of control, urging us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, emphasized this idea, stating that certain things, like our opinions, desires, and actions, are within our control, while others are not. By prioritizing our actions and attitudes, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and frustration. Attempting to control external factors, such as other people's words or behaviors, only leads to inner turmoil. Instead, embracing the idea that we can only control ourselves brings about a sense of tranquility. Stoics believe that it's not external events themselves that disturb us, but rather our interpretations of those events. Epictetus illustrated this concept with a thought-provoking analogy. If someone were to give away your body to a stranger, you would undoubtedly feel anger. Similarly, allowing someone's verbal attacks to disturb your peace of mind is akin to surrendering control of your thoughts and emotions. In essence, Stoicism teaches us to focus on our actions, accept what we cannot control, and recognize that our interpretations of events greatly influence our emotional well-being. By adopting this mindset, we can cultivate inner peace and resilience in the face of life's challenges. Number 4. Anger control through negative visualization. Any person capable of angering you becomes your master. He can anger you only when you permit yourself to be disturbed by him. Epictetus. The Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum, or negative visualization, involves mentally preparing for potential hardships. It's akin to risk management in modern terms. Stoics viewed life as filled with unpredictable events, both favorable and unfavorable. They recognized the frailty of the human mind and believed in preparing for disasters, even if the outcome couldn't be predicted. By imagining themselves in various adversities and practicing virtuous behavior in response, Stoics reduced the mental burden and negative impact of actual hardships when they arose. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, exemplified this practice by mentally anticipating challenges he might face throughout the day. By preparing beforehand, he could respond calmly rather than react angrily when confronted with difficulties. Similarly, Seneca emphasized the importance of anticipating trouble, even during periods of apparent prosperity. How much better to heal than seek revenge from injury? Vengeance wastes a lot of time and exposes you to many more injuries than the first that sparked it. Anger always outlasts hurt. Best to take the opposite course. Seneca. By acknowledging the potential for adversity, Stoics cultivated resilience and maintained equanimity in the face of life's uncertainties. Therefore, negative visualization is a Stoic tool for cultivating resilience and emotional preparedness. By mentally rehearsing responses to adversity, individuals can mitigate the negative impact of challenges and maintain inner tranquility amidst life's ups and downs. Number 5. Anger control through mindfulness. What is more cruel than anger? What is more affectionate to others than man? Yet what is more savage against them than anger? Mankind is born for mutual assistance, anger for mutual ruin. Seneca. Anger is a common human emotion, but expressing it aggressively or violently is not productive. Mindfulness can be a helpful tool in managing anger by allowing individuals to visualize their anger as a large wave that they can ride out, rather than trying to suppress or cling to it. Mindfulness involves being fully present in the moment without judgment. It's about letting go of unhelpful thoughts and judgments and fostering a sense of calm and clarity. The Stoics, ancient Greek and Roman philosophers, promoted the concept of mindfulness as a means to control anger. Their approach to mindfulness was analytical and proactive. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, advised against being swept away by the intensity of emotions. Instead, he advocated for examining the nature of impressions and testing their validity before allowing them to influence one's actions. By cultivating mindfulness, individuals can break the habit of reacting with anger, frustration, or resentment to perceived slights or humiliations. Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, emphasized the importance of focusing on one's duties and acting with kindness, humility, and sincerity. Briefly, mindfulness offers a powerful tool for managing anger by promoting awareness, clarity, and emotional regulation. By practicing mindfulness, individuals can navigate challenging situations with greater composure and resilience, embodying the Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, and temperance. Number 6. Anger control through acceptance. Stoic acceptance teaches us to embrace and appreciate the journey of life, rather than being dragged along by its highs and lows. Fighting against reality and resisting what we cannot change only leads to anger and dissatisfaction. According to Stoic masters, angry individuals often blame others, resent life's uncertainties, and harbor negative feelings toward the world. Inner peace, they believed, comes from accepting external events and people as inevitable parts of life. Seneca succinctly expresses this idea. A wise person is content with their circumstances, without longing for what they lack. One exercise recommended by Seneca is negative visualization, which also serves as a practice in accepting both the present and the unknown future. By setting aside time to appreciate even the simplest and most basic aspects of life, we learn to find contentment in what we have. Marcus Aurelius further emphasizes the importance of acceptance by urging us to live each day as if it were our last, dedicating ourselves to acts of kindness and virtue. By embracing life as it is and making the most of every moment, we can find fulfillment and meaning in our existence. Number 7. Anger control through patience. Say to yourself in the early morning, I shall meet today ungrateful, violent, treacherous, envious, uncharitable men. All of these things have come upon them through ignorance of real good and ill. I can neither be harmed by any of them, for no man will involve me in wrong, nor can I be angry with my kinsman or hate him, for we have come into the world to work together. Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius once advised, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil. It's as if he was speaking directly to the frustration we feel when faced with someone who simply refuses to listen or understand. Trying to change such individuals is like holding your breath until you turn blue. They'll just continue their behavior, unfazed. An American saying that captures this sentiment. Never wrestle with a pig. You just get dirty and the pig enjoys it. When we encounter these challenging individuals, those nutty, obnoxious, stubborn jerks that seem to make up a certain portion of the population, it's tempting to engage in arguments or battles. However, this rarely leads to a positive outcome. You can't defeat someone who has nothing to lose, and it's futile to reason with someone who didn't use reason to arrive at their position in the first place. It requires skill to recognize irrationality and emotional reactions in others, as well as confidence to avoid getting entangled in ego-driven conflicts. Patience is essential to withstand their attacks and tolerate their presence, but by learning to walk away, de-escalate conflicts, and let others be themselves while focusing on our actions, we can preserve our happiness and lead a less stressful and angry life. Remember, it's not our responsibility to change others, and even if it were, those who are set in their ways are unlikely to welcome change. Simply focus on being the best version of yourself, and you'll find life much more manageable. What do the Stoics believe about anger? The Stoics teach that our anger doesn't stem from another person's actions, but rather from our interpretation. They view anger as a calculated response rather than a reflexive reaction driven by a desire to retaliate against perceived wrongdoing. They recognize anger as a harmful emotion that must be managed and overcome. According to Massimo Piglucci, a philosophy professor and author, anger for the Stoics is not an impulsive reaction but rather a cognitive endorsement of the belief that our initial reactions to offensive actions or words are justified. Feeling angry is a natural human experience, nothing to be ashamed of. However, the Stoics emphasize the importance of controlling anger rather than allowing it to control us. By mastering our emotions, we can lead more balanced and fulfilling lives. What did Seneca say on anger? Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher, cautioned against the dangers of unchecked anger. He believed that anger, if left unchecked, can be more harmful to us than the initial injury that sparked it. Seneca viewed anger as a temporary state of madness, emphasizing that even when it feels justified, one should never act upon it. In Seneca's view, anger impairs our judgment and sanity. Unlike other vices, it can escalate suddenly and engulf our minds, rendering us unable to think clearly or rationally. Anger is a destructive emotion that should be avoided at all costs, as it not only the individual experiencing it, but also those around them. According to Seneca, anger clouds our ability to reason, making us deaf to rational discourse. It causes us to lose control of our emotions and can escalate into violent behavior. Therefore, Seneca advocated for the avoidance of anger as a means to maintain inner peace and harmony with others. What did Epictetus say on anger? Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who rose from slavery to become a renowned thinker, offered profound insights on anger. He believed that our anger is fueled by our own interpretations and judgments, rather than external events. Therefore, he advised against being swept away by initial impressions and encouraged cultivating self-mastery over time. According to Epictetus, it's not the events themselves that trouble us, but rather our interpretations of them. In essence, it's how we label and perceive events that determine our emotional response. Epictetus challenged his students to recognize that it's their own opinions that torment them, not external factors. He illustrated this concept by comparing insults to hurling insults at a rock, ultimately futile. By choosing not to be affected by insults, individuals can shield themselves from harm. He emphasized that nobody can hurt us without our consent. Just as insults in a foreign language hold no power over us, hurtful words lose their impact when we refuse to internalize them. Epictetus teaches that by understanding and controlling our interpretations of events, we can prevent ourselves from being harmed by external circumstances. It's our choice whether to allow others' actions to affect us, and by exercising this choice, we can maintain inner peace and resilience. What did Marcus Aurelius say on anger? When you feel anger rising, remember this: it's not admirable to give in to rage. Instead, true strength lies in gentleness and civility. A person who remains calm and composed demonstrates real strength, courage, and endurance, qualities that surpass those of someone who is quick to anger and complains often. The closer one gets to a peaceful mind, the stronger one becomes. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and philosopher, emphasized the importance of patience over anger. He believed that we shouldn't allow circumstances to provoke our anger, as they are indifferent to our emotions. He also pointed out that the consequences of anger and grief far outweigh the circumstances that triggered them. Therefore, it's more beneficial to maintain composure and avoid being consumed by negative emotions. What did Musonius Rufus say on anger? Musonius Rufus, a Stoic philosopher, expressed his views on anger by highlighting the importance of self-control. He believed that self-control brings the greatest pleasure, and that lack of it leads to the most pain. Rufus considered anger to be a destructive and irrational emotion that only exacerbates problems rather than solving them. Instead, he advocated for accepting injury without harboring resentment and showing mercy to those who wrong us. This, he believed, is characteristic of a benevolent and civilized way of life. What did Zeno of Citium say on anger? Zeno of Citium, a philosopher predating Stoicism, believed in the importance of conquering oneself to conquer the world. He saw anger as an irrational emotion, with far-reaching consequences that should be eliminated. Zeno suggested that listening to others in silence could help avoid anger, highlighting the significance of attentive listening over speaking excessively. He famously remarked, "The reason why we have 2 ears and only 1 mouth is that we may listen more and talk less." For modern Stoics, Massimo Pigliucci, an academic philosopher, offers practical advice on anger management. Preemptive meditation involves thinking ahead about situations that trigger anger and planning how to respond. Monitor signs of anger early on to prevent it from escalating. Surround yourself with calm individuals and avoid those prone to irritation or anger, as moods are contagious. Engage in relaxing activities like playing music or other hobbies to maintain a calm mind. Seek out environments with soothing colors to influence your mood positively. Avoid arguments and conversations when tired, hungry, or thirsty, as these states can increase irritability. Use self-deprecating humor to cope with life's unpredictability and the unkindness of others. Practice cognitive distancing by taking breaks from stressful situations, such as going for a walk or finding a quiet space. Adjust your body language to promote calmness, such as slowing down your movements and lowering your voice. By following these strategies, individuals can better manage their anger and cultivate a sense of inner peace and tranquility. As we conclude this exploration of Stoic philosophy's timeless wisdom, it's evident that mastering our emotions, particularly anger, is key to unlocking inner peace and resilience. Stoicism teaches the importance of self-control and avoiding worldly desires. Stoics prioritize a modest and virtuous lifestyle based on reason, rather than seeking emotional highs or material comforts. They find contentment in simplicity and acceptance of the natural order of the universe. To calm an angry mind, Stoics employ strategies like delaying their reaction to provoking events, considering the future consequences of their thoughts and actions, and acknowledging the irrationality of their anger. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." Seneca said, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." Furthermore, when someone incites anger, Stoics advise seeing them as fellow human beings. Reflecting on their humanity can foster empathy and compassion, helping to dissolve feelings of anger. Now I invite you to reflect. How will you apply the teachings of Stoicism to your own life to conquer anger and embrace tranquility? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's embark on this journey toward emotional mastery together.